911, what is your emergency?
I like to report a death. The body is cold and it's hip-hop.
No way. Who would want to kill hip-hop? Everybody loves him.
And it doesn't look like suicide or an accident. It looks like a professional hit. Hello and welcome to another episode of YAAAMS Nation, where we break down media images and lies about our culture. All around the internet, you see discussion about how the music industry is dead or dying.
Why isn't music selling as well? Like, I've seen some artists do 15,000
streams.
The music industry is officially on its way to the bottom as over 150 employees and one of the biggest major labels in the industry got laid off.
There was so much money in the system, and the record companies were spending the money that they were earning from their huge artists and putting it back into all these other artists.
People blame streaming services, they blame social media trends, they blame greedy record labels. Even AI is catching strays.
Due to the development and popularization of artificial intelligence technologies that are accessible to anyone with an internet connection, instantaneous voice replication of A-list artists like Drake, Playboi Carti, and virtually anyone using a simple vocal recording sampling algorithm, among other capabilities, are already wreaking havoc on streaming platforms.
I get people want to focus on the business side and the technology, but hip-hop started declining long before any of that. Let me give you guys my take and tell me if I'm off base. At its peak, rap music was structured and operated like an organized crime family.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
See, at the top, you got the commission. That's the major labels. They are the bank, they're invisible, but they have all the final say. Below them, you have the front bosses. That's the studio executives. They control the culture, but make no mistake, they answer to the money upstairs. Then you have the de facto bosses, the black CEOs of independent labels. They control their own families, move independently. These fools really didn't have any real power. They were just there for show, like sharecropping. But they're still controlled by the real bosses. Then you have the top earners, the producers. This is where the money is made. They must be protected at all costs. They are the engine of the whole operation. Then the soldiers, they like the rappers. They carry the risk, do all the work, run their crews, but they are replaceable. Now, the real power wasn't at the top or the bottom. Listen to me now. It was in the middle, the top earners, the producers. In hip hop, the ones that supplied the main product, the beats, ran the whole operation. Whoever controls the beats controls the sound. Whoever controls the sound controls the money. Whoever controls the money controls the message. So the real question is, was the decline of hip hop about controlling the profits or controlling the narrative, or both? We all understand why bosses would want to control the money. That's normal. Anybody want to control the money in business. But why control the narrative? See, back in the day, hip hop was pure energy. It was about block parties, park jams, and it was rooted in joy and having fun. And then a great rap group came along called Grandmaster Flash and dropped a message.
Broken glass everywhere, people.
And that changed the game overnight. That was the first shift. For the first time, the music spoke directly to the reality of the community. People didn't just hear it, they felt it. And that's exactly when the power structure woke up. They realized this kind of truth-telling, it was dangerous. First, they tried attacking it publicly. They labeled it a menace to society, hoping to discredit the message. But when the attacks didn't work, they said it was just a fad that would eventually fade away. But y'all know that didn't happen. Y'all know that. Instead, it grew into something powerful, something meaningful, something that gave the culture an identity. And at its core, during this golden era, there was balance. See, you had street artists like Kool G Rap and the Ghetto Boys, romantic voices like LL Cool J and Heavy D, Afrocentric acts like X-Clan and Poor Righteous Teachers, socially conscious voices like Public Enemy and KRS-One, comedic tracks from Biz Markie and Digital Underground, alternative crews like De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest, dance hits from MC Hammer and Chubb Rock. Y'all remember that jam?
90 Chubb Rock jumps upon the scene with the lean and a pocket full of green. The green.
Now, I didn't mean to go down that long memory lane. There was many more artists I could have put in there, but I just want to show you how hip hop used to have balance. But then the balance broke, and the way they did it was simple. controlled the producers. Because of technology, the production became better, the production became faster. And then the industry also realized a dangerous truth, that a catchy beat will sell anything. And this is where the balance got lost. The beats became the stars and the lyrics became secondary. And the majority of the best beats went to the gangster/street rappers and every now and then a party fun song. And they starved the socially conscious to feed the destruction. We can clearly see the downfall of rap came from losing its balance. And even in life, balance is everything. As the saying goes, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And the first sign a gangster rapper becoming mainstream because he was getting the best beats was Snoop Doggy Dogg. He was the first gangster rapper to cross over on a massive scale. See, artists like NWA, Coogee Rap, they existed in that street gangster world, but they didn't cross over at the time. And when I say crossover, I don't mean crossover to white suburban. I mean inside the black community. See, before Snoop, most older black fans, black women, and the professional black people, they wasn't listening to gangster music. He changed all that. He became known to everyone, whether they listened to music or not. Dr. Dre gave Snoop those beats that was loaded with old school melodies. Y'all know how that feel when it sounded like Motown on some of those beats. And it reminded fans of classic old school music. That smooth, melodic sound made even the harshest, meaningless lyrics digestible. And as my uncle from Long Beach says, Snoop was the first mumble rapper. Yes, he had a smooth flow, but simple words, simple ideas, no value other than we don't love these hoes. That's why he mocks them so well. He and Death Row Records became the blueprint. They blew up so big that conscious rappers, positive rappers, socially aware rappers, they were pushed to the underground. And destruction and violence rap was pushed to the forefront. This became the new model for the industry. And see, Dr. Dre, he came to fame already established in gangster rap when he was producing for NWA. And that's why I really didn't mention the Southern scene for the most part, the street music or the party music, from the Ghetto Boys to the 2 Live Crew. Don't get me wrong, the South was on the map, from Jermaine Dupri, Outkast, MJG, and the Hot Boys. But like I said, the way they came in the game, for the most part, is the way they stayed. And that's probably why the South took over the whole hip-hop industry. And that's the key. Stay in your own lane. Many of the best producers who would be considered nerds or backpackers were trendsetters. They should have been sharing some of their best beats with socially conscious rappers too. Yeah, Kweli, Common, and Mos Def, Dead Prez got through some bones here and there, but most of those beats went to street rappers instead. To just to name a few, Pharrell produced for the Clips, who rapped about drug selling. Timberland produced for Jay-Z. Q-Tip produced for street rappers like Nas and Mobb Deep. Now don't get me wrong, the music was great, but it was one-sided. Imagine a table where one leg is longer than the others. No matter how strong the tabletop is, the legs aren't balanced, and eventually it's gonna tip over. That's what happened to rap music. Once it lost its balance, it was just a matter of time before it came crumbling down. And Kanye West was the worst of them all. He also produced a lot of street rappers from Jay-Z, Pusha T, and others. But the man came in the game with socially conscious lines from his first album, The College Dropout. It wasn't a prison yard dropout. It wasn't gang dropout. He was a backpack rapper. I know they don't like that label, but that's what he was. He stepped out in front of the scenes where most producers like him stayed behind the scenes or didn't rap. But Kanye West went all out and joined a whole record label that only produced street music, Rockefeller Records. By the time that label was at its heights, the system of street rappers getting the best beats was in full operations. And it lasted for decades, to the point where now we think that's the culture. Gangs, drugs, guns, killing, and partying. We got a whole generation growing up thinking the YN culture is the lifestyle to live. From mumble rap to drill music in Chicago. But it all started with these producers giving the best beats to the rappers who wasn't saying anything with substance. And you know what? Lyrics used to mean everything in rap, especially for people from New York. But when I seen Kanye co-sign the rapper Designer in that Panda video,
I got broads in Atlanta, just to lean the family.
Oh, hell no. A New York mumble rapper. Can you believe that? And the reason why I started with that mafia analogy is simple. Because those orders had to come from the top. Because ain't no fucking way someone who loves hip-hop said Designer and Young Thug got talent and decided to give them those hard-ass beats. And you really can't blame him for creating a whole new language while sounding like he's crying. You have to blame the producer because ain't no way he was sitting in that studio and when Young Thug got done, he said, yeah, that's the shit. Ain't no way. This is why you have to blame the producers for murdering rap. The only question is, did they do the hit themselves or did the order come from the top? Just like a crime family, everyone has a role and everyone in the organization has to follow orders or they get whacked. Even though the whole operation went off balance, the producers still got their cut. I'm thinking this was a contract killing and they were just following orders. And that's it for this video. Until the next one, peace.
Broke it down to its very last compound.